Alright, so I have wandered down to my favorite local game store so I can review the latest book for Flames of War, Bulge American, or as you might say, the American Bulge. Whatever. Forces of the Western Front book here covers not just the Battle of the Bulge, it also covers the Bridge at Remagen. This is their plan for the other Bulge books that are being released for 4th edition. It covers all the items we had in things like Blood, Guts, and Glory, all the way up to the Bridge at Remagen book and Nachtjäger. Which, by the way, does say something. We might actually see infrared units in the German side. But enough of that. This is the Americans. This is releasing very shortly here. There's a lot of plastic releases in here that I am very interested in. I usually had the idea that I wouldn't play an American force because, what do you know? I am an American. I should play something else. But, things have changed. I'm going to pick up an American force, and we're going to go ahead and look through what's available in the Bulge American book. As usual, you get the nice map on the front. The infantry for the paratroops all in one spot here, kind of in the rear. All the armor in the front. The infantry are placed with the paratroopers, and the tank destroyers come last. I'll point out something about that a little bit, but it's just how they organize the book. So immediately they give you the special rules and the doctrine, but they also jump in and give you a nice big old chunk of lore to talk about the background of the tanks, as usual. And this goes on until you get to the actual force chart. The force chart has the things I'm going to point out. The infantry formations that are available are all either battle-weary formations of armored rifle or rifle, or they're parachute-style companies. Gliders here, parachutes there, but still, doesn't matter one or the other. This is what you get. This is your infantry formations. There are two types of tank destroyer formations, the M36 and the M18. We have two different types of Chaffee and Sherman companies, veteran and standard. The support options look pretty much about the same. The M12 battery makes an appearance. I'm a bit uneducated on how the D-Day Americans looked. I am not certain if they got the M12 battery. They may have. I'm not certain about it. But they certainly do here. I can see it. More rules and history. The first thing we're going to come across is the Sherman Light Company. Sherman Light Company has my respect because I like crazy mixed companies, and this does more than just be crazy and mixed. Check this out. You have to take 2 black boxes. You have to take headquarters. So your headquarters has to be 2 M4 Shermans. Your combat companies don't have to be Shermans. They give you the option to switch out the first Sherman with an M26 Pershing tank platoon. They can give you the option to take the second platoon and switch it out for a Stuart or Chaffee tank platoon. All of them being veteran, right? All of them being veteran. So you can actually play in a Sherman company that has no combat platoons composed of Shermans. Just 2 headquarters Shermans, and then you'll have Pershings, and then whatever form of light tank you want to, dittering around in your Sherman company. So I also like this. There's a different thing that happened in this list compared to what happened in the old Bridge at Remagen book. The Pershing tank platoon is right here. And you had a choice of bringing, 1 to 3 or 1 to 5 Pershings in the old company. And this one, look here. The Super Pershing is a separate option that's in your formation. In the old list, your option was Super Pershing or to bring the other ones. Or there was a mix. But you got 1 platoon of Pershings. Here, there are 2 separate platoons. Now, I'll tell you something. A Super Pershing platoon there isn't very full of options, and I think you get 1. Of course, you have the option to replace your Shermans and Jumbos left and right. And here are your options to replace the Shermans. You get your standard light guys with the better protection. You get your Easy 8s, which are amazing adaptable tanks. You get your Jumbos. These still go by the old adage where you buy one of them to stick in your Sherman platoon to take all the hits, so to speak. Okay, they did do this. You get 3 Pershings in a Pershing box, but you can still bring up to 5 of them if you really want to. You just power on the Pershings. And then as a separate option, you can bring a 6th Pershing that is the Super Pershing. Just a single one at 16 points. You know what? That's kind of worth it. This is a nasty beast. It was shown in the preview video that Battlefront Miniatures put out. And they showed you the Super Pershing, and I agree. This is an interesting new adaptation to have this separate from the standard Pershing platoon. So that's going to influence my decisions quite a bit. Of course, armored platoon, assault gun platoons. I think it does give you the option to, instead of taking assault guns, you can take Calliopes. They're on a different page, though. The veteran Chaffee Tank Company is not as crazy as the veteran Sherman Company is. You're stuck with taking Chafees as your combat platoons, which is not a bad choice in my opinion. That gun and that speed can work together. You now have something in the American choices that works a lot like the Scout Cromwell platoons do on the British side. So you're forced to bring 2 platoons of Chaffee. You can then bring in a Sherman Late platoon of Easy 8s or Jumbos mixed with normal Shermans or whatever you want to. Any mix of those. And with your Chaffee, 2 Chaffees in command. So that's that. You then get... There's your standard Sherman Late Company. Not as crazy. You're still forced to take the Shermans in this one. The actual options are on your 3rd platoon. So if you want to bring Chafees or Stuarts instead of a Sherman, your 3rd platoon is required for that. Calliopes are a choice in the... Are the Calliopes a choice in the Chaffee? No. The Chafees only get to take Scots or the Assault Shermans. Looking at the armored rifle, they're pretty standard. You get your machine guns, your anti-tank, basic dudes. Battle Weir Rifle Company pretty much is the same thing as an ordinary rifle company, but their statistics are different. They're careful, they're reluctant, they're different boys. I don't know, I'm not aware of the point values, but I think the point values have gone down to reflect their less motivated stance. Makes perfect sense. Oh yeah. The infantry are advertised in this book, by the way, just a thing. They talk about the Bridget Remagen, and then when they talk about the paratroopers, they flip back to Bastogne. So they kind of do a little bit of time traveling with the setup. But like I described earlier, that's because they're putting the infantry in the middle of the book and the tank destroyers in the rear. There's your parachute company. It looks pretty light to me. Jeep Recon, anti-tank, 3 platoons. You know, it's what you expect out of a... This is the last stand company that's surrounded in Bastogne. The usual suspects. Glider company that does the same things. Only has 2 platoons. I'm not sure if the other one had that, but I'll make a note that this one only has the 2 platoons. They got a lot of history on the tank destroyers, and the tank destroyers, nice art. The tank destroyers have a basic M18 tank destroyer platoon, which, what do you know? It's just M18s, just security sections, nothing else is in formation. So that's that. The M36 tank destroyer company is kind of fun in that you can mix it up a little. You can take your 2nd platoon as M10s if you really want to scale back a little. Or you can just go full explosive and just pile on the 90 millimeters. Much like the other one, there's no other mixing except for the M10 option instead of your 2nd and 3rd platoon. So there's that. Just jumping immediately into the support units, they're just tagged here. Recon sections, the usual Stuart patrol added on. M12s. M12s have a direct fire of 15. Very nice. So you could use them as improvised Stugs if you really wanted to, but you'd be crazy to do so. That's a good question. Am I that crazy? Return of the Grasshopper. Return of the P-47. I think it gets rockets now. If it didn't have rockets earlier, it has rockets now. Like I said, I'm ignorant of the original list. I'm not quite sure about this one. Xylophone launchers are... I didn't expect this. Okay, so the xylophone now makes an appearance in this book. Well, nice. It works a lot like a Katusha does. Its movement stats are pretty much the same. Maybe I'm wrong. I'll double check. Haven't touched the Russians in a little bit. I prefer their tube artillery, as weird as that sounds. Also, some other things I'm going to point out. Here's their example for us and how to paint. But the thing that really kicks me into excited mode, I want to upgrade some Shermans to Calliopes, and I'm worried about putting resin or metal on my plastic models. Well, they have all these plastic models coming out. You can see this entire page is full of plastic. These are plastic. These are plastic. The Calliope upgrades are plastic. The Xylophone rockets are apparently going to be the old metal models from playing in the Pacific Theater. The 3-inch tank destroyer mounted guns, unmounted guns are going to be that. Lots of different plastic options. For those of you who love plastic, you're getting plastic, even in the parachute artillery. So Thunderbolts are not in plastic. I guess their deal with Revell only lasts for certain craft. And of course the M12s are not plastic. That makes sense. They have the old models. They might as well use them. They're threatening Berlin. We're going to be seeing the Germans either Christmas time or New Year's. British will come after, probably in the spring. So Berlin is going to be summer of 2022, if not later in 2022. So Berlin is a little bit out there. So this is the Bulge American book. It gets released on the 7th of November. And hopefully, if you like playing Americans, you're going to get the upgrades you want to playing this book. Hope you liked watching the video. Have a great day.